Ever since August 23, Archangel Michael has been holding back a spiritual attack aimed at your house. You've skipped every signal so far, but this is your final warning before it hits. Open this immediately. Since August 23, a barrier has stood between you and the full force of something you did not even see coming. But that shield is not eternal, and time is now slipping fast through your fingers. It began on August 23, not just a date on the calendar, but a divine line drawn in the spirit. On that day, the Archangel Michael, the one who wars on behalf of heaven's elect, was appointed to stand watch over your household. Since that sacred moment, a great pressure, unseen yet undeniable, has been building. It is spiritual in nature, fierce in intention. It has not yet broken through, not because you were strong, but because heaven restrained it. Let this be clearly understood. This word is not for the masses. This is not a casual encouragement nor a general broadcast. This is for the one whose ears have been ringing without sound, for the one whose dreams have grown thick with meaning they could not decode, for the one who has noticed the silence in rooms that once held laughter, the tension that rises unprovoked, the unspoken shift in the people around you. You know something is off, but you couldn't name it. You've been missing the signals until now. You were warned, not always in words but in disruptions, in delays that made no earthly sense, and sudden friction in close relationships, and the way time seemed to stutter, and decisions became heavy. Yes, signals were sent, through dreams, through deceptions, through divine pauses, and still they were missed. Now, hear this. Silence, stillness, and obedience. These are your only shields left. Not reaction. Not retaliation. Not explanation. What heaven has been restraining is eager to be loosed, but mercy has stretched the window of time for your sake. Because you are known. Because you are loved. Because your destiny is not small. But this is the final restraint before it hits. Heaven is watching. Hell is waiting. And you are standing in between the two. The hourglass is bleeding its final grains. And your awareness, your awakening, is the key. Type "I receive this warning" in the comments if you feel this stirring. Blessing Shield Code 888 has now been activated around your home. Heaven is speaking now. Not with thunder, but with stilled urgency. The sword is drawn. The shield is raised. And Archangel Michael has been dispatched on your behalf. But the shield only holds while obedience holds. Hear this now, child of the Most High. The knock you feel is not physical. It is not someone at your door. It is not noise from the street. It is not the chatter of men. It is the pressure of a spiritual force that has been waiting, watching, circling. There is an entity assigned to your collapse, but it has been held back. Not by chance, not by luck, but by the hand of Michael, commander of the Lord's army, restrainer of chaos, warrior of the throne. Since August 23, the spiritual realm has been under tension. A confrontation that you did not see has already begun. Heaven has already moved. And now you stand in the ripple. You stand in the weight of a decision that isn't even about what you do but what you obey. Let this be engraved in your spirit. Within days, perhaps even hours, the balance will shift. There is a battle brewing that has your name etched in its center. Your address has been whispered in the shadows. Your peace has been petitioned by hell. And yet it has not reached you. Why? Because Michael stood. Because heaven said not yet. But time bends under command. And this is your final warning. Do not look for signs with your eyes. The atmosphere has already changed. The warfare is not about flesh and blood. This is not about who unfollowed you, who stopped talking, who started acting strange. It is deeper, more ancient. The kind of conflict that marks a chosen life when it reaches the turning point. And that's where you are. This is not a message for the skeptic. This is not entertainment for the curious. This is not therapy for the complacent. This is a dispatch for the marked one, the one who has felt unseen pressure, unexplained weight, moments of irrational exhaustion, and emotional tremors without cause. You've wondered if you were imagining it. You've questioned your own discernment. But heaven is confirming it now. You were never imagining it. You've been targeted because you've been chosen. Let me speak this in divine clarity. The knock you feel is not a guest. It is a test. It is not someone coming for coffee. It is something coming for territory. There is a spirit pressing at the edges of your domain. It doesn't want you things. It wants your authority. It wants your mind. It wants your posture. And above all, it wants your silence to turn into surrender. But I speak as one sent. I speak as one carrying divine authority. This is not imagination. This is heavenly interruption. You are not being warned to scare you. You are being summoned to secure you. The shield will hold if you obey. The sword will strike if you remain still. The angels are positioned. The line is drawn. You are being told now because the window is short. The moment is thin. And once this word is released, what you do next becomes the pivot. The shield of Michael is still standing, but the command is shifting. The permission of heaven is awaiting your stillness. Do not dismiss this as coincidence. Do not harden your heart in familiarity. Heaven never repeats itself unless a heart has missed the first signal. And you, beloved, you are hearing this for the final time before the wave breaks. You are not crazy. You are not cursed. You are not forgotten. You are intercepted. You are protected. You are being summoned into strategy. Michael is holding the line, but you must hold your posture. You must silence the chaos around you and listen. Every step now matters. Every word now echoes in eternity. And every reaction is either reinforcement or breach. This is your hour to hold still. Your silence is not absence. It is warfare. Your stillness is not laziness. It is authority. And your obedience is the shield heaven will honor. Type I am covered under heaven if this word hits your spirit. Blessing seal code 7711 has just activated around your mind. Not all battles begin with swords. Some begin in whispers. Some begin with confusion. Some begin with the quiet unraveling of peace. And what has been stalking your peace has worn the mask of normal, but it is not. There is a strange and subtle war happening behind your name, not in public arenas, but in secret shadows. In spaces you cannot see, voices have risen against you. Conversations have taken place that you were never invited to, but they were about you. They've tried to define you, dissect you, distort you. You felt it, haven't you? The shift in how people speak to you. The slight but undeniable change in tone. The hidden sarcasm. The strange pulling away. You are not imagining it. These are the whispers of warfare. These are not ordinary people doing ordinary things. These are spirits working through willing mouths, trying to destabilize what God is about to elevate. And while they do not understand the fullness of why they speak the way they do, their spirits recognize something your mind hasn't fully accepted. You are about to rise. There are watchers around you. Not always malicious, some are simply curious. But they are watching with eyes that do not see your whole truth. They sense something, but they cannot name it. They feel a fire, but they cannot trace its source. So they do what flesh does. They gossip, they withdraw, they speculate. It has nothing to do with what you've said or done. It has everything to do with what you carry. And heaven wants you to know, this is confirmation, not condemnation. The unease you've been feeling is not random. The restlessness in your soul, the inability to get comfortable, the feeling that you're walking through fog, it's all real. And it's all spiritual. This disruption is not failure. It's not punishment. It is the tremor before divine fulfillment. It's the press before promotion. But you must not misinterpret it. This is not just a bad season. This is a shifting of the atmosphere around you, because your elevation has made you visible to both heaven and hell. You've awakened something in the spirit. And now, the test has arrived. You've likely asked yourself, why now? Why the tension? Why the friction with people you used to trust? Why the sudden coldness from those who once cheered you on? Why the silence from places where there used to be connection? Because spiritual clarity often brings relational confusion. And the enemy uses confusion to get you to doubt your direction. And don't fall for it. This is the plot. Wear you down through confusion. Distract you through people. Drain you through unspoken fears. And all while you're busy reacting, the attack walks through the back door. But here's what heaven wants you to see. You're not losing anything that belongs to you. You're being delivered from what could not handle your next level. The conflict isn't always an enemy's attack. Sometimes it's heaven's plans. You're not being abandoned. You're being prepared. Even now, Michael holds the line. The sword is drawn, but it has not been released. You're still under protection. But the final warnings are sounding. The wave that was pressing has not yet broken, but you cannot ignore it any longer. This isn't about your comfort. It's about your calling. The discomfort is a gift. It is the sound of transition. And you have one task now. Do not respond in the flesh. Do not defend yourself to people who cannot discern you. Heaven will reveal what needs to be revealed. You remain still. You remain silent. You remain secure. You are not behind. You are not cursed. You are not forgotten. You are exactly where the war was supposed to meet you, so you could win. Type I will not be moved if your spirit agrees. Blessing Firewall Code 444 is now activated to shield your emotional space. If this message is opening your eyes to the unseen war around you, then this isn't just for you. It's for the souls connected to your obedience. Every gift you sow into this channel helps ignite the flame for another life still trapped in spiritual confusion. When you give, you're not donating. You're planting divine seeds into the battlefield of someone else's breakthrough. The oil flows where the hunger is. Rod said in Luke 6:38, "Give, and it will be given to you, pressed down, shaken together, running over." That's not a verse for the past. That's a living promise for right now. If you're feeling stirred, it's because your spirit recognizes this moment. This is your trigger line. This is your call to move in power. The same spirit that's protecting your house today will use your giving to become a fortress for others. Let your generosity become a prophetic act. Let your offering carry spiritual weight. Support the mission through the YouTube Super Thanks. Join as a channel member or plant a seed through PayPal. The link is in the video description. Do it now. Don't wait. Give into the word. Blessing code 911 is released for every sower in this moment. The war around you is not personal, it's prophetic. The pressure you feel is not proof of weakness, it's proof of assignment. And the chaos at your borders is not coincidence, it's the cost of being chosen. Listen closely. This is not an ordinary storm. This is not simply a rough patch in your life. This is not a cluster of bad luck or emotional fatigue. This is warfare. Strategic, surgical, and specifically aimed at your calling. The battles you've been facing are not just about stress, people, or circumstances. They are after your alignment, because what is assigned to you is threatening to hell. The enemy has not been targeting your comfort, he's targeting your clarity. He's not fighting your possessions, he's fighting your position. This is a war against what you carry, against what you're becoming. This is a disruption against your divine timeline. And unless you see it for what it is, you will misdiagnose the battle and fight in the wrong direction. You've asked, why now? Because you're on the verge. You've wondered, why this heaviness? Because your spirit is already standing in a place your feet haven't reached. You've questioned, why me? Because your name has been whispered in heaven as one who will not bow, one who will not break, one who must now choose to walk in higher fire. You are not weak. You are not failing. You are not underqualified. You are targeted. Because you are chosen. This resistance you feel, this pressure around your soul, it is not punishment. It is indication. Indication that you are moving in alignment, that your steps are in rhythm with heaven. And when you walk in alignment, the resistance is confirmation, not condemnation. This conflict is framed by the Spirit, and it is framed in such a way that your response will determine the extent of your victory. If you react in fear, the door may remain open. If you respond in faith, the angelic reinforcements move freely. Michael is holding the line, but you must remain in spiritual posture. Every word you speak in this season matters. Every conversation, every silence, every delay, every thought. Heaven is weighing your responses. The courts of heaven are watching your decisions. The war has not broken through your walls yet, but how you respond now will determine what is loosed or restrained. There are conversations happening in the unseen realm. Documents of destiny are being reviewed. Assignments are being measured against your maturity. And your calling, your next level, hangs not in the chaos around you but in the control within you. Can you remain still while everything shakes? Can you hold your peace while they provoke? Can you trust God's silence more than man's noise? Because make no mistake, this is not about what others are doing. This is not about who betrayed you, who ghosted you, who started acting strange. That is just the surface. This is about whether your identity can remain anchored in what heaven says. When everything on earth tries to redefine you, you are not called to prove yourself. You are called to preserve yourself. And preservation in this season looks like silence, stillness, and surrender. Let Michael do what you cannot. Let the sword strike where the flesh cannot reach. Do not run into a fight you were never called to fight in the natural. You are more watched than you realize. Not just by people but by spirits. Principalities have noticed your name. They've seen the shift in your fire. They've watched the way you survived the last season. They know you should have broken, but you didn't. And now they plot disruption. Onto destroying but to distract. Because if they can distract, they can delay. But if you remain grounded, the delay becomes divine acceleration. This is the frame. You are chosen, therefore you are targeted. You are anointed, therefore you are opposed. But you are also protected. Therefore, you must remain still. The warfare not prove you're off track, it's prove you're on it. But the victory is not automatic. The heavens respond to those who stand in alignment. This is a holy moment, and your awareness is the weapon. Type "I am in divine alignment" in the comments if you understand what's unfolding. Blessing Fire Code 3003 is now surrounding your calling. The time is no longer distant. The clock of mercy ticks louder now. The grace that held back the wave is thinning, and the shield that stood since August 23 now waits for your response. This is not fear. This is fact. This is not threat. This is truth. The storm is rehearsing its strike. Hear the urgency in the spirit. There is an escalation forming. It is not obvious yet. It is not loud. It is moving beneath the surface, gathering like a tide under moonlight. You can't see it with your natural eyes, but your soul has felt the tremble. There is a shift in the air. The pressure behind the curtain is growing. And now, even heaven begins to whisper, if they do not act, it will break through. There is a 72-hour window opening, not measured by earthly time, but by spiritual opportunity. This window is fragile. This window is holy. And what you do inside this window will determine what breaks out of it. Heaven has not lifted the shield yet, but it is waiting. Waiting on your obedience. Waiting on your stillness. Waiting on your posture. Conversations are forming in the shadows, quiet, strange, and unsettling. Plans are being rehearsed, not by people alone, but by spiritual forces that have been restrained until now. The strategy is deception. The goal is disruption. But the entry point is disobedience. If you react out of frustration, the door opens. If you retaliate in the flesh, the breach begins. If you forsake the instruction of silence, the protection folds. It will not be betrayal in the way you expect. It won't come with a scream. It will come through distraction, through strange miscommunications, through distorted perception, through false assumptions. It will come softly, almost unnoticed, not to destroy your house, but to disturb your rest. Because if you lose rest, you lose clarity. If you lose clarity, you miss divine timing. The walls around you tremble, though no hand touches them. The air in your home feels different, though no storm is seen. That's because the pressure is spiritual, and spirits do not need doors to enter. They come through openings in obedience, openings in posture, openings in emotion. And that is why heaven is speaking again now, not to frighten you, but to position you. This is the final call before the wave is released. You must understand, Michael has not left. The angelic guard still holds. But authority requires agreement. You must now agree with heaven's posture. Stillness is not inactivity, it is alignment. Obedience is not weakness. It is warfare. You are not called to react. You are called to remain. And in your remaining, the attack will pass without landing. Hell is hoping you miss this moment. Hell is hoping you let your emotions rise. Hell is hoping you answer the phone call, send the message, clap back, argue, defend, explain. Don't. Your silence is louder than any shout. Your stillness is sharper than any weapon. And your obedience is more offensive than any fight. Listen, you've come too far to be baited by small fires. You've passed through too much to stumble over what you've already overcome. This isn't about what's being said about you. It's about what's being said against you. This isn't about personalities. It's about principalities. This isn't petty. It's prophetic. You are in the countdown now. The next 3 days in the Spirit are crucial. If you remain silent, the enemy loses access. If you remain still, Michael remains assigned. If you obey, no breach can occur. But if you move from posture to panic, the wave will break through. And it will not be gentle. Do not say heaven did not warn you. This message is not wrath. It is rescue. And it comes with clarity. You are protected. You are watched. But now, you must align. Type I will not open the door if you receive this warning. Blessing Shield Code 777 is now standing at your gates. Now comes the command. Not a suggestion. Not an idea. Not a strategy from man, but a divine directive from heaven's throne. The hour is urgent. The pressure is real. The time to speak is over. Now, you must be still. The order has been issued in the Spirit. Be silent. Let Michael wield the sword you cannot lift. Let the warrior angel strike in places your voice cannot reach. Let the hosts of heaven move in dimensions where your emotions are ineffective. The battle is no longer yours. It never was. It only appeared that way because the enemy wanted you to take the bait, to engage, to argue, to defend, to speak. But the true victory has never been in how loud you get, it's in how still you stay. This moment is not about confrontation. It is about consecration. You must step back from every tug of war that tries to steal your peace. Withdraw from arguments. Abandon the temptation to explain yourself. Go out of emotional negotiations. The fight is fixed, but only if you stay under divine cover. Stillness is your strategy now, not out of weakness but out of wisdom. Silence is not defeat. It's the disguise of those protected by the secret place. Heaven does not need your volume. It needs your agreement. Every word you utter in this season will either fortify your walls or weaken your protection. The next move must come from the throne, not your tongue. This is where the mature are separated from the reactive. The shield that Michael holds is still extended, but it hovers only over those who obey. And right now, heaven is whispering one clear command: be still and let me be God. Do not retaliate. Do not text back. Do not post. Do not plead. Do not chase what walked away. Do not try to convince what was already decided. Stay still. Some doors are best locked from the inside, and some battles are won not with noise, but with silence so deafening it echoes in the spirit realm. The silence of one obedient child of God is louder in hell than 1,000 screams of panic. Your restraint right now is shaking gates. Your silence is setting fire to every false altar raised against you. You must see this as spiritual. The pressure that is rising is designed to provoke you, not because the enemy is strong, but because he knows your reaction is the only open door he has left. If you hold your peace, he is powerless. If you speak prematurely, the breach begins. But you already know what to do. The Holy Spirit hath been stirring you. Heaven has been whispering. This message is only confirmation. You are not being punished. You are being hidden, covered, protected, pulled back so that the angels can move forward. Michael's sword is swift. It does not miss, but it will not move if you're still trying to fight in your own strength. Let this truth grip your spirit. No weapon formed will pierce you while you remain under stillness. That argument you want to have, let it go. That email you were about to send, delete it. That confrontation you've been preparing for, cancel it. That plan to defend yourself, burn it. The only thing you need to prepare in this hour is your posture. Withdraw from the noise. Disengage from the distractions. Stay in prayer, not performative prayer, but deep, still, watchful prayer. The kind of prayer that says nothing but hears everything. The kind of prayer that doesn't beg but waits. Because while you wait, heaven wars. This is a divine transaction. For every moment you hold your peace, heaven releases a wave of protection. For every second you obey in silence, another angel stands post. You are not doing nothing. You are doing the most powerful thing you could do in this hour. You are trusting God to do what only He can do. The sword is in motion. The orders are clear. The heavens are ready. But your stillness is the key that unlocks the next strike. Do not move. Do not speak. Do not fear. Type "I choose stillness" in the comments if you are aligning your posture. Blessing code 2024 is now activated. The mantle of silence has covered your home. You have not been reduced. You have been refined. You have not been buried. You have been planted. What has felt like delay was divine development. What has felt like resistance was spiritual reconfiguration. And now the shift begins. The enemy thought the silence would break you. He thought the pressure would silence you forever. He believed that if he surrounded you long enough, the fire inside you would flicker out. But what he failed to see was this. Your stillness was not surrender. It was strength in disguise. While everything around you trembled, your roots went deeper. While others mistook your quiet for weakness, heaven saw it as obedience. And now, child of fire, you are emerging, not as you were but as you truly are. You are not who they think you are anymore. The season has changed you. You have been through internal earthquakes no one else saw. You have cried tears that never left your eyes. You have stood in rooms full of people and still felt unseen, yet still you didn't break. Still you didn't run. Still you didn't give up. You stayed the course. You stayed in posture. You stayed under the shield. And now, the transformation is complete. Heaven had been building in silence what hell hoped would never rise. The trials that came to drain you have lit an inner fire that cannot be extinguished. You don't just carry faith now, you carry flame. You don't just survive the storm, you command the wind. You don't just walk in calling, you carry spiritual combustion. Hear this clearly. Your wings are not coming. They are already spread. You are no longer crawling through this battlefield. You are ascending. The narrative is shifting. You are not running from an attack. you are rising through it. You are not evading darkness, you are radiating light. The elevation has begun. This moment is not about avoiding pain. It's about realizing that pain was the forge. The fire refined you. The silence built your strength. The confusion sharpened your discernment. And now, what tried to destroy you has become the very reason you're about to dominate. This is the shift from survivor to sent one, from under fire to on fire. You are no longer merely reactive. You are prophetic. You speak from authority. You walk with clarity. You discern without needing confirmation. What once overwhelmed you now recognizes your presence. Demons that once mocked your potential now tremble at your obedience. The adversary you thought was about to break you was actually the tool God used to activate you. So rise, beloved. Rise into identity. Rise into spiritual command. Rise into holy fire. The ground you once knelt on in desperation is the very platform heaven will use to launch you. The wilderness has ended. The furnace has done its work. You are coming out, not just free but full of fire. Let this burn into your spirit. You are not a victim. You are not waiting to be rescued. You are walking out of the fire with wings. You are not losing your mind. You are gaining divine strategy. You are not stuck. You are stationed. Your position is about to shift from silence to visibility. But this time, it will not be man that lifts you. It will be heaven that announces you. And no voice can cancel what God is about to confirm. No enemy can sabotage what heaven has sealed. No past can disqualify the present anointing you now carry. You are rising, and this time, not just for survival. You are rising to lead, to speak, to burn, to shake systems, to disarm strongholds, to war in silence and win in obedience. You are no longer who you were. You are fire-formed, heaven-commissioned, spirit-governed, and hell can do nothing to stop what God has now revealed. Type "I'm rising" in fire in the comments if your transformation is complete. Blessing ignition code 5555 is now active around your elevation. Now the curtain is lifting. Now the purpose becomes clear. Now the chaos makes sense. This shaking, this pressure, this warfare, it was never random. It was the unlocking of something heaven concealed until the appointed time. And that appointed time is now. Listen with your spirit, not just your ears. This battle was not sent to destroy you. It was sent to identify you. A conflict with a confirmation. A warfare with the unveiling. What looked like opposition was actually a spiritual announcement that your promotion had already been signed in the courts of heaven. But promotion does not arrive without pressure. Elevation always comes disguised. A disruption around you. It was the divine disturbance that accompanies every shift in destiny. The strange silence. That was heaven pulling you into a place where no other voice could distract you. The friction in relationships. That was heaven allowing a separation to protect the oil being refined in you. You were not being abandoned. You were being anointed. You've been asking, why now? Why this way? Why this silence? And heaven answers, because the time has come. Because your name has been spoken in the council of heaven. Because your season of hiding is ending. Because your next level has already been activated. Everything that tried to break you was really pressing against the gates of your next dimension. And God let it press, not to punish you, but to position you. Because the only way to unlock what's sealed in the spirit is through obedience and pressure. And you obeyed. You stayed silent when your flesh wanted to scream. You held your ground when others folded. You refused to bow when every spirit around you demanded compromise. And now, hear this prophetic word with fire. The attack was proof of your rising. The enemy did not come because you were weak. He came because heaven whispered your name in promotion. Hell responded to what heaven revealed. And what you thought was an attack was actually an announcement. An announcement in the spirit realm that said, this one is next. This one carries weight. This one is rising in rank. The pressure didn't break you, it birthed you. The silence didn't kill you, it crowned you. The betrayal didn't end you, it exposed what couldn't go with you. And now, the oil that crushed you is the same oil that marks you. The very thing that tried to shut you down has become the stage upon which God will reveal you. This is not a season of recovery. This is a season of revelation. Heaven is about to reveal what has been hidden inside you. The authority, the fire, a mantle, a voice, a wisdom, the insight, the clarity. You didn't lose your power in the warfare. You found it. Every shaking you felt was strategic. Every delay was divine. Every unexplained burden was prophetic preparation. And now the revealing begins. But this revealing won't come with fireworks or applause. It will come with clarity, with favor, with sudden access, with doors that open where there were no hinges, with invitations that seem to appear out of nowhere, because heaven has already gone before you. And remember this, you do not have to make yourself seen. Heaven sees you. The one who calls you has already spoken your name in rooms you haven't walked into. The oil on your life is attracting divine partnerships, angelic movement, strategic alignment, because now the mantle you carry matches the moment you're walking into. You are not just stepping into opportunity, you are stepping into fulfillment. What was locked is now up. What was hidden is now visible. What was being formed in secret is now being released in public. But not for the sake of exposure, for the sake of impact. And the wave that tried to take you out, it will now be the force that lifts you higher. Type I receive my revealing if your spirit bears witness to this prophetic shift. Blessing code 1212 is activating visible favor over your name. If this revelation struck your spirit like lightning, if you feel the fire, the clarity, the shaking, then you're not just being blessed, you're being summoned to sow into something bigger than yourself. Every message we speak, every prophetic word released, becomes a lifeline for someone else's awakening. Your giving is not charity. It is spiritual warfare. It is divine reinforcement. It is kingdom currency. It opens the heavens over someone else's storm. As the Lord says in Malachi 3:10, bring the whole tithe and see if I will not open the windows of heaven and pour out blessing that there will not be room enough to receive. That's not poetic. That's prophetic. If you feel the weight of this word, it's because God is inviting you to act, not just to listen. This is your first-person trigger line. This is your moment to sow into the fire. You can support the ministry through the YouTube Super Thanks, become a channel member, or give directly through PayPal. The link is in the video description. Step into this moment. Sow with intention. Fuel the fire. Blessing code 999 is released over every obedient giver. There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey where waiting ends and walking begins. where survival transforms into sending, where silence becomes strategy, and strategy becomes motion. This is that moment. The gate is open. The atmosphere is clear. The fire has done its work. And heaven now leans in, waiting for your next sound. Not your complaint. Not your panic. Not your retreat. But your yes. Heaven is not holding back anymore. The delay was never denial. It was development. The silence was never rejection. It was preparation. But now, the assignment requires agreement. Destiny does not force itself on you. It waits for your permission. The call is activated when your spirit responds in faith, not fear. And you, beloved, are standing at the threshold where all of heaven waits on one response. Will you step into command? This is where the spiritual and the practical collide. This is not about how you feel. This is about what you know. This is not about how long it's taken. It's about the fact that it's now here. Your next season is not waiting in the distance. It is pressing at the edge of your decision. It will not enter through noise. It will not manifest through emotional response. It will rise through posture, through alignment, through the resolve that says, no more hesitation. I am who God says I am. Heaven is sounding the call, and that call is not for you to go back to waiting rooms that God has already closed. It is not for you to shrink back into doubt or drown in self-analysis. It is not for you to replay the betrayals, the pain, the silence. That season has ended. The door is sealed. The attack that tried to break you has now become the platform heaven is going to launch you from. You don't need more confirmation. You don't need more time. You don't need more applause or agreement from people who never saw what God put inside you. What you need now is activation. What you need now is alignment. What you need now is bold, unwavering agreement with your divine assignment. This isn't just a calling, it's a commissioning. Heaven is waiting for your yes, not just in words, not just in worship, but in action, in mindset, in strategy, in silence that speaks louder than noise, in posture that says, I may not see it yet, but I'm stepping into it now. Do not retreat into fear. Step into command. Command your thoughts to come into agreement with what God has already declared. Command your atmosphere to bow to peace, not panic. Command your home to come under the banner of divine alignment. Command your soul to remember who you are. You are not your mistakes. You are not your past. You are not the echo of other people's assumptions. You are the voice of heaven's intent. You are the carrier of an unshakable mantle. And that mantle is now activated. This is not a waiting season anymore. This is a war season. Not a war of striving, but a war of standing. You don't fight by swinging. You fight by standing still in the authority of one who knows. I've been chosen for this moment. And because you're chosen, heaven is backing your next step with angelic alignment. Demons cannot cross into a territory that obedience has sealed. And your obedience right now is drawing the map of your next. You have permission. Heaven is no longer whispering. It's confirming. The battle was the announcement. The silence was the preparation. The fire was the sanctification. And now the rising begins. Declare it now. I am stepping into divine command. I will not delay. I will not hesitate. I will not bow to doubt. I will walk like I'm chosen, because I am. Type "My destiny is activated" in the comments if this word sealed your next step. Blessing command code 7070 is releasing oil over your next assignment. What you couldn't see, heaven saw. What you couldn't explain, heaven understood. What you couldn't control, heaven restrained. And while you were walking, crying, trembling in silence, the Spirit was not still. The Spirit was speaking, moving, negotiating, exchanging. There has been a holy transaction happening in realms higher than your understanding. Since the moment the pressure began, since August 23, there has been an invisible exchange taking place over your life. It wasn't loud. It wasn't announced. It didn't come with thunder or flashes of light. But every tear you wept, it was gathered. Every prayer you couldn't finish, it was recorded. Every moment you obeyed in silence, it was marked. And while your flesh was breaking, your spirit was winning battles in courtrooms you didn't even know existed. Michael has been standing as both warrior and witness, holding back the storm while also defending your name. When accusations rose against you in the spirit, the blood spoke louder. When delay tried to lay claim to your promise, the obedience of your silence tipped the scale. And when demons attempted to enter through open doors from your past, heaven answered with a "Not this one, they are covered." This wasn't just a season of spiritual warfare. It was a season of divine negotiation, a holy barter between your obedience and your destiny. There are moments when God speaks with fire, and then there are moments when God speaks through silence. This was one of those moments. And while you slept, while you waited, while you stayed quiet when you could have clapped back, the angels moved. The Spirit petitioned. The archives of your journey were opened, and heaven said, "They've endured enough. The exchange is due." Hear this. What was stolen is being weighed for return. Not just in double, but in divine measure. Every sleepless night, every silent prayer, every act of obedience when no one saw. It was not wasted. It was deposited. And now, interest is being released from heaven's treasury. The enemy tried to convince you that nothing was happening, that God had gone quiet, that maybe you missed something. But the truth is, something was happening. It just wasn't happening where your eyes could see it. There is a storage room in the spirit that has your name on it. A vault of restoration, of answered prayers, of delayed promises being recalibrated and released. And now the key has turned. Michael has finished what he was sent to do. The wave has been held. The attack has been overturned. And the release is beginning, quietly, suddenly, divinely. Your restlessness in this past season wasn't confusion. It was spiritual recognition. Your spirit knew something was happening before your mind could catch up. That's why sleep felt shallow. That's why relationships started to feel off. That's why your appetite shifted, your focus faded, and your emotions went through invisible battles. Because your spirit was in transit, and it was negotiating on your behalf. This is not superstition. This is not imagination. This is divine orchestration. What was taken unjustly is returning righteously. And what was delayed is now being delivered with power. Not because you demanded it, but because you endured for it. You didn't break. You didn't turn back. You didn't give up. And heaven honors that. Now the exchange is complete. Now it moves into your hands. And what's returning isn't just what was stolen, it's also what was stored. Prayers prayed years ago. Seed sown in secret. Words spoken in faith. Sacrifices made when no one clapped for you. Heaven has not forgotten any of it. You not question this moment. Receive it. The Spirit has completed the exchange. Michael has sheathed the sword. The seal is unbroken. The delivery has been stamped. And what was once withheld, by mercy, not punishment, is now being released because your heart is ready to carry it. You don't need to chase it. It's coming to you. Type the exchange is mine in the comments if you know the vault is opening. Blessing transaction code 8899 is releasing divine recompense over your household. The gavel has fallen in the courts of heaven. The scroll has been unsealed. The balance has been measured. And now, justice begins. Not man's version of justice. Not temporary fixes or shallow revenge. But divine justice, the kind that echoes through generations, the kind that reverses what was meant to destroy you and makes it work for your rise. There are moments when heaven stays silent, and then there are moments when heaven speaks with finality. This is one of those moments. What came against you, the words, the plans, the confusion, the betrayals, was seen. And while you held your peace, heaven did not stay idle. The restraint you showed became the proof that you were ready for reversal. The silence you chose became your legal evidence in the spirit realm. And now the ruling has gone out. Every scheme is returning to its sender tenfold. This isn't punishment. This is divine law. What a man sows, he reaps. What the enemy sets in motion, he must suffer himself. And because you refused to curse back, because you didn't return evil for evil, because you kept your hands clean and your spirit still, heaven has declared your name righteous in this battle. You didn't retaliate. You didn't strike back. You stood. And now the tables are turning. Let your spirit catch this. The storm that was meant to break your house will become the wind that lifts it. The lies that were told about you will now become the proof of who you are not. The relationships that turned cold will become the space God fills with divine connection. And the very thing that was weaponized against you will now be used by God as the stage of your favor. The reversal has begun. Not only is the attack canceled, it is reversed. The voice that cursed you is now silenced. The assignment that followed you is now revoked. The weight that pressed against you is now lifting you higher. And it's not just that you survive it, it's that God is using it to serve you. Do you understand? The thing that tried to bury you will now broadcast you. The confusion that tried to cloud you will now clarify your path. The manipulation that twisted your name will now turn into a divine echo of your vindication. This is not about getting even. This is about getting elevated. The weapons that formed were never meant to prosper, and now they are returning empty. They were ranging, imploding. Heaven has reversed the momentum. And hear this, you will not need to explain anything. God will do the revealing. He will vindicate in ways no post, no conversation, no argument ever could. What was spoken about you in secret will be undone in public. The very people who questioned your character will become the witnesses of your favor. This is justice not on your terms, but on God's. And that's why it will be final. Even now, favor is being rerouted. Doors are opening not just because it's your time, but because it's your turn. It's been delayed, yes, but it was preserved. And now, in the right season, with the right posture, under the right anointing, it is being delivered with acceleration. The spiritual records are being corrected. The atmosphere is shifting. The demonic fog that tried to follow you is being swept away by a new wind, the wind of reversal. And every assignment that was lingering in shadows is being dismantled by light. You are not just exiting the storm, you are walking out with spoils. This is the justice of God, and it is complete. Let the enemy weep, for every attack has failed. Let every shadow tremble, for you are rising in power. Let every mouth that cursed now witness your covering. You are sealed. You are avenged. You are promoted. And the ones who tried to stop you will now be forced to watch you flourish. Type "Justice has been served" in the comments if you feel the tables turning. Blessing reversal code 3131 is now sealing your victory with fire. And now, it is complete. The warning has been given. The sword has been lifted. The shield has held. And the assignment that began on August 23, to preserve your household, to hold back the storm, to give you one final chance to respond, has now come to its closing seal. You've heard. You've seen. You've received. And now, heaven waits for how you will walk. Since that divine date, when the Archangel Michael was commissioned to restrain what was heading your way, a holy force has hovered over your life, intercepting attacks, blocking chaos, silencing accusations, and standing between your house and hell's assignment. What others around you may have ignored, you could feel in your spirit. What they dismissed, you discern. There was a fire pressing at your walls, a pressure mounting in your atmosphere, a spiritual presence watching your steps, and yet you were not consumed. Not because of your strength, but because of heaven's restraint. But restraint is not forever. Mercy waits, but it does not wait endlessly. The time has come to shift from survival to surrender, from hesitation to holy posture. The alarms have sounded. The window is closing. But in this final hour, you are still covered, not because you earned it, but because you were chosen for it. And now, this truth must anchor your soul. You are not in danger anymore. You are in decision. Decision to obey. Decision to align. Decision to trust the instruction. Not the loud instruction, but the silent one. The inner whisper that says, don't react. Don't explain. Don't run. Stand. Be still. Stay under the shield. This is your final divine directive, for the moment is passing quickly, and what you decide now will build the foundation of your next season. So receive the blessing that has already surrounded you. Peace now rests upon your walls. Protection now hovers over your name. Justice now walks before you. The sword hath been drawn not to scare you, but to slay what's been sent against you. You are no longer a target. You are no longer under threat. You are now under command. Let these last words settle deep into your spirit. You are sealed. You are seen. You are sent. The warfare did not break you, it crowned you. The fire did not destroy you, it revealed you. And the silence was not abandonment, it was alignment. Now rise. Not in panic. Not in fear. Not in striving. Rise in posture. Rise in peace. Rise in full awareness that you were preserved for this moment. The attack was not the end. It was the door. And now, you are walking through it. Type "I am sent" and sealed in the comments if this word was your confirmation. Blessing activation code 0000 is now covering your next chapter. If you've been carried through this word, if your spirit has been stirred, if you know this wasn't just content but a divine conversation from the throne, then this is your chance to respond in kind. Not just with comments or likes, but with kingdom partnership. When you give to this ministry, you're not sowing into a platform. You're sowing into a spiritual rescue mission. You're helping release messages like this to souls who are one word away from surrender or survival. What you give becomes the mass someone else was praying for. God's word says in Proverbs 11:25, "The generous will prosper. Those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed." That's not just a verse. That's your inheritance if you act now. If this prophetic message has been oil to your weary bones, then this is your moment of obedience. This is your first-person trigger. You can support right now through the YouTube Super Thanks, become a monthly channel member, or pour directly into the mission through PayPal. The link is in the video description below. Do not delay. Act in faith. Fuel the flame. Blessing overflow code 8888 is being released over every giver in this final hour.